it's Brittany and welcome back to my channel. Or if you're brand new, why am I doing my old outro or intro? Anyways, whatever. Welcome to my channel, whether you're new or been here forever. This video, the title's probably something like only watch if you're 18 plus, or like something about being over 18 or something like that. Even though my channel is set to not for kids, I'm just kind of putting that warning out there. But this is really fucked up. Like, this is fucked up. This is something I experienced last year, and I've been thinking about it a lot. Actually, this is part 2 to a video that I made, oh my god, was like September, I made it in December. It was about a hotel that I stayed at. I forget what it was called, but I got into like a whole story about the 14th floor or something, and then I was talking about my own experiences. Anyways, this is another experience that I had at that hotel. I'm not gonna say which hotel it was, or maybe I will, I don't know. It was in California, that's what I will say, and that's what I said in my last video. But in my last video, I never got into this experience because I just thought this was like too much for my channel, even though, like, you know, I'm scary and paranormal and everything. So just a little backstory before we get into this. If you watched that video, I will link it above if I can find it. I don't even know what I called it. It's something about elevators or something, and then I went into my story. But anyways, I experienced weird, just creepy things at this hotel. There was a man, when I was going to get my Uber Eats order from the lobby downstairs, there was a man who was next door to me. He came out of his room at the same time that I did, and I was walking down the hallway and he was right behind me, and I just felt, I didn't feel safe. And I had my phone out and I was, you know, pretending to call somebody because I was going to the elevator. When I got to the elevator, he just went like right around me super fast, but he went around me and then he took the stairs. And I went downstairs and I went to the lobby to get my Uber Eats, and it was so stupid of me to go back into the elevator to go back up to my floor. The doors opened and I looked over to the staircase, even though I couldn't see the staircase, but it was the entry into the staircase, if you know what I mean, but it was blocked by the elevator and the walls and stuff. And I looked over and he could have been hiding there. Luckily he wasn't, and I just ran all the way down the hallway to my room. And I looked both ways before I went into my room because he just freaked me out. But you know, was he just this innocent person and I was overly paranoid? In today's world, you should be overly paranoid, unfortunately. And then I had another experience when it was the day I was checking out and I was going back into the elevator, and I pressed the button to go to the lobby, and then it took me down to the basement, and there was this weird man that got on, and there was like green lights, and it reminded me of Saw. Like, definitely watch that video. But anyways, that's what I said in that video. But you didn't hear about this, and this was like insane. So I was staying at this hotel for like 5 or 6 days, right? And I knew, so the man was staying next door to me, like the one who was like following me down the hallway. I don't know if he was actually following me, I just felt that way, but he was staying directly next to me, like on my left. Anyways, I woke up one morning at like 5 a.m. or 4:30, like close to 5, it was probably 5. Around 5. I feel like it was like 4:45 or whatever. I woke up to this horrendous screaming from a woman. Like, and I'm not exaggerating, she sounded like she was being murdered. Like, tortured. Screaming at the top of her lungs. And it freaked me out, and I didn't know what to do. I sat there. At first, I was like, okay, there's also a woman staying in that room too. I thought maybe the man and the woman were having like this crazy sexual, like they were having like crazy freaky sex, like doing something, like just being freaky, or I don't know, like going on this like sex marathon at 5 in the morning, like 4:45ish to 5 in the morning. That's what I thought at first. And she was like screaming, like, but it wasn't a pleasurable scream. This is why I'm making it like 18 plus, because I'm talking about sex. it wasn't pleasurable. It sounded like she was in pain. And it sounded like there was like furniture being thrown across rooms or something. And like her, I don't know, like I never saw what was going on. I just heard. So I remember I was just listening, and I kept trying to tell myself, oh, they're just having sex. They're just, you know, really going at it early in the morning, you know, and they're just being extremely loud. But it just didn't sound, you know, when you're like staying at hotels sometimes and like you hear it, and usually, you know, it doesn't sound like someone is screaming in excruciating pain, like they're being burned alive or being murdered. It does not sound like that. So I was like in my bed, shaking. I was scared. I heard so many people like opening their doors in the hallway and walking out and listening. So it kept going on, and it sounded like her head was being like smashed against a wall, against the bathroom. I could tell where they were because our rooms were the same. So sometimes it sounded like she was, you know, in the bedroom area, and then other times it sounded like she was in the bathroom, and she was like, it was like her head was being smashed against the mirror or the counter. It was loud, and she was just screaming. So anyways, I was like, okay, enough is enough. I'm gonna call the front desk. So I'm calling the front desk, and a guy answers, and I said, hi, I don't know, like I don't know what to say, but the room next door to me, he cut me off, and he said, you're hearing a woman scream. I said, yeah. And he said, yeah, I've been getting constant call after call after call about this woman screaming. And he said, you're right next door. I said, honestly, it sounds like she's being murdered. And the guy just like, I could feel like his heart just sinking. And I said, I mean, obviously, like, I can't like make that claim, but I told him, they woke me up. Her scream woke me up. And at first, I thought they were just having like freaky sex or something was going on. Something sexual, hardcore. And I told him that, you know, I just kept listening and hoping that's what it was, and it wasn't like a pleasurable scream. This was excruciating pain this woman was in. There's no way they were having like sex. There's no fucking way. And I told him, and then he said, okay, well, we're gonna go up and check it out and everything. And I said, okay. And then I hung up, and it was still going on, and I could hear people kind of coming out of the rooms, closing their doors. But the reason why they were doing that is because they were listening, and I could just hear people walking back and forth, but nobody knocked on the door. To be honest, I don't blame them, because I literally don't know what you'd be walking into. And a part of me wishes that I went outside of my, you know, I opened my door and was like talking to the other guests at the hotel, being like, what the fuck is going on? But guys, I was so scared. I was in my room, like so scared, because I just, even though I knew like I was locked safely inside my room, but just knowing they're literally on the other side of the wall of my wall, and I just didn't want to move. This went on for an hour. There was times when the screaming would kind of just fade, like, you know, she'd scream and then just kind of stop, and then like out of nowhere, and it's not like she was having a nightmare or something, it was like a banshee scream, literally. So that's when people could be like, oh my god, like what if it's a haunted hotel and you're just hearing, you know, like residual energy or something? No, I don't think that. I mean, that would be crazy, but I know that there was a man staying in that room because I saw him get out of that room when I was going to get my Uber Eats. And then, I mean, I never saw him go back in because the last time I saw him was by the staircase, but he was staying in that room. And another thing is, as I was hearing her scream, I never heard like a man making any sounds or anything. But I could tell like she wasn't alone. She wasn't doing whatever was going on in there to herself. There was somebody in there, and it had to be the guy. Like, who else would it be? So I called back to the front desk probably like half an hour after, and I just said, hey, like she's still screaming. You know, she stops for a little bit and then it comes back again, and it gets worse. It's louder, and her head is like being smashed. I don't know that for a fact. That's just what it sounded like to me, and literally what I saw in my head. And it just sounded like I don't know if she was like being beaten up or something. It sounded like she was being murdered or being tortured. That's the best way to describe it. I've never witnessed somebody being tortured or murdered, but that was what I felt. And it was like traumatizing. And I kept telling him that. I said, like, do we call the police? Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I didn't know what to do. And he said, like, he was handling it and whatever. Anyways, it was like around 6:15 in the morning, and it was complete silence in that room. So I went back to sleep for a little bit, and I woke up, like, I didn't sleep for long. I woke up like 7:30 in the morning or something, and I didn't hear anything. It was dead silent. So anyways, I actually had 2 friends who were also staying at this hotel. I had one friend who was across from me, but diagonal. So she was like diagonal, but you know, 5 doors down that way. And then I had another friend who was staying directly below me on the 3rd floor. So we had a group chat going on, and I messaged them in the group chat and I said, hey, did you guys hear that woman screaming? They never heard her screaming. Never. And I just, like, I told them it sounded like she was being murdered, like something was not right about it. And I told them, like, everything that I told you guys. And I was seeing them in person that day. I was with them all day, so I got to tell them more about it in person and everything. And I just said, like, guys, when we go back to the hotel tonight, can we walk each other? Like, we agreed we're gonna walk each other to our room. So we didn't get back until like the next morning. We were gone all freaking day, and God, it was like, I don't know, 4 a.m. when we got back to the hotel. And we walked my friend who was staying below me, because she was on the 3rd floor, so we walked her to her room. We made sure she got in, and then oh my God. Now I'm hearing things behind me. I mean, I am in a haunted room. I got haunted objects everywhere. So then we went up to the 4th floor, and me and my friend, like the friend who was staying like diagonal from me, we literally, she got to her room and I got to mine, and we looked at each other, and we both opened our doors at the same time, and we just kept looking at each other until we were inside our rooms and closed the door, so we knew that we both got in safely. And I showed her the room because it was next door to me, and I just said, like, you know, I was there for like a week, 5-6 days, about a week, and I never heard it again, the screams. So I wanted to update you too. So that morning, so after I was texting my friends in the group chat, I decided to call the front desk again to talk to that guy. So it was about 8 in the morning when I called him, and I said, hey, it's me from room blah blah blah. I just wanted to check in with you and see if you found out what was going on next door. He told me, and I don't believe him, he told me, oh, she just had a medical problem. A medical problem. I didn't hear anybody go into that room. And I said, like, a medical issue, what do you mean? And he didn't even tell me what it was. I don't know, he could have been right. But why? I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. And so I don't know. That was horrific, what I heard. It was traumatizing. And every time I had to leave my room, I mean, I listened every morning that was there, if anything else. I don't even know if the guy, like, when he checked out, I don't know if he was staying as long as I was staying. Maybe he was checking out the next day. I don't know. But I never saw anybody else go into that room for the entire time I was there. Never. Whoever that woman is, I hope that, you know, she's okay. I hope that man, like, I don't know. I don't know. That man's a freak. He gave me such bad vibes and energy, and then hearing that and everything, I don't know. And then I also told the man on the phone about the guy and saying, like, you know, when I was going down to get my Uber Eats, and he was just really weird behind me, and then he went to the stairs and everything. And I can describe him to you. He was like a young guy. He was around my age and maybe a couple years older, and he had red hair, and it was like long, and he had glasses, and he was wearing shorts, and they were like greenish, brown maybe, and like a dark t-shirt. So I guess I will end it at that. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I don't know. But thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you rock my world in the song lyrics. Michael Jackson, hashtag team Britty44, hashtag Barretto friends, hey. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. It'll be like on a higher note, like a happier note, but I don't know. Well, it's still scary because that's what I do. But anyways, that's probably one of like the darker topics that I've done on my channel, but I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you guys in my next video.